Right, well, as we get underway now with the first match, joined by Tim Chalisi, and Tim, just lean forward a little bit there, and you're going to be playing a little bit later on this evening. You looking forward to actually getting back on the court?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back on the court. It's been a while with the whole situation that's going on in the world right now, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, these two players, you obviously know Joel very well because I guess he's your roommate
My
as
roommate,
such.
Yeah, roommate, training partner, yeah.
Are you sick of him yet? Sick of hitting with him yet? Or is it just okay?
Well, we've definitely had our fights over this lockdown period for sure, but no, we're definitely okay now. I think I'll be coaching him in between games today.
And what about Michael? How well do you know him?
Yeah, I know Michael quite well. I've seen him around quite a lot and hang out with him quite a lot in all the junior tournaments. So he's a couple of years older than me. Quite a good player, good local player. Still training and hitting quite a lot, so it's going to be a good matchup tonight.
Well, I mean, it's funny because Michael's the oldest person here. He's 21. You're still, what is it, 19?
Still 19.
All right,
So
yeah, I
he was
like
a
that. Still
couple
19, still a teenager.
Just.
Our youngest player in this tournament is Leo Fatialofa, who only turned 17 a couple of days ago.
Yeah. And he's still got a really impressive PSA world ranking, so he's one to look out for in the future for sure.
And for you, you've got your PSA ranking, but was it February or March? It's certainly relatively early this year. You won your first satellite. Which tournament was that?
So that was the Eden Epsom Memorial Open. So that was my first satellite win. I think I played one satellite before that at Henderson, and so that was my second satellite of the year, but third tournament. So it was good to win one of those first couple of tournaments because it looks like those are the only ones for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we all recognise it's a long way to go, but it's always nice to get that first title, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's always good to secure a win for sure.
All right, well, since we've got you here, what do you expect in this match? Because both players are still going to be raw, aren't they, when it comes to match play?
Yeah, definitely. I think even though me and Joel have been hitting quite a lot recently, it's hard to know where we stand with other players because obviously we haven't seen much local squash over the last couple of weeks, so I think this is going to be quite interesting. Good to see how the first game sort of plans out really.
And with someone like Michael, does he have any particular shots? Is he a little bit unorthodox, or is there something you know that he does well?
Yeah, he is a little bit unorthodox, but he uses his power really well. So you've got to be quite tight and have really good length so that you don't open up the court too much for him because he's got quite a hard shot.
Well, so far his score is 4-all, and both players just really feeling their way on the court.
Yeah. I think getting used to the temperature is quite dead on that court. It looks like at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, certainly the temperature has dropped a lot tonight. It was relatively warm during the day for this time of the year, but certainly it's a bit cooler out there. How does that affect a court like this, a glass court, and effectively a warehouse as such?
Yeah, it actually has quite a big effect. So me and Joel mainly train during the day, so I think he's not actually going to be that used to the temperature in there, so it's going to be quite deep. And so lifting your lobs and your drops, so your lobs will be a bit, will die a bit more, and your drops will be a bit further up the court. So it'll be an interesting test for Joel to see how he reacts to that change in temperature.
Because when you played Henderson PSA earlier this year and also winning at Eden Epsom, it was pretty hot. I mean, we're talking about late February. It's pretty warm in Auckland. It's humid.
Yeah.
Would have been a real different thing for you.
Yeah. So we're getting into winter now shortly. So it's a lot different than January and February when those tournaments first started. Still quite tight here in the first game.
Nice shot. You can see both players are a little bit raw in what they're doing on the points. It's still working their way in, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Looks like they're just starting to scrape that rust off right about now. Rallies are getting slightly longer. They can still see it's quite dead on there.
As a player in the cold environment, is it just a matter of keeping as warm as you can, getting on the bikes? There's gym equipment here. Is that really the case for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think a slightly longer warm-up than you would normally have in the summer as well. I think that's really important. So you can see the boys warming up.
I guess the thing is, you haven't really been playing competitive matches 7 or 8 weeks. Some coaches would be a little bit worried, like, don't overdo it. Not this first week, don't overdo it.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll just be easing into it this first game. You have to be quite careful. You've still got 4 weeks of this, so you've got to look after the bodies. Yeah, sure.
And at the moment we can see the TVNZ, Television New Zealand camera down there.
Yeah.
Doing a little bit of filming. Good to have them there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome exposure for the sport and also the complex here. First stroke of the match.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't done too bad for that, really.
Yeah. Hasn't been too many calls so far.
Well, as you said, that forehand of Michael Shelton-AGAR, it's pretty powerful,
Yeah.
and at times a little bit unorthodox as well.
Yeah, it's quite hard to read him on that forehand as well. So when you don't read him and he really whips it, it's actually quite hard to get. Can't really tell unless you're on the court with him. Yeah.
Right, well, we're back in the second game of this, the first match of the UNSQUASHABLE Premier League, and it is Joel Arskott against Michael Shelton-AGAR. And it was Joel took out the first game 11-8, and joining me now, Tim Talisi. You know, just what we kind of expected, for that the first game.
Yeah, quite a lengthy first game for these conditions actually, which is quite good to see. I think Joel got the first blood in the second game, so it's going to be good to see what happens here. I think it was quite a tight first game, which was as expected because they're both, I think, quite rusty.
Yeah, and I think both players just working themselves, not even so much on the fitness level, just on the point level. There's a big difference between being fit and being game fit out there, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll have some sore muscles after this match, definitely. I think Michael was talking to me that he had squash bum, which a lot of squash players will know about from having his first hit back the other day.
And this particular court, you've spent a lot of time on it. There's not so much people here, not so many people here, obviously at the moment, we're not allowed that. But in the corners, can you see okay in the corners? Does it give you on one particular corner on the left-hand side, you have darkness, but on the right-hand side, there's more gym equipment. How does that make you feel when you're on the court?
Yeah, I think I'm a lot used to it now just because I'm training on it quite a lot, but a lot of players who come in and play on the glass court for the first time really struggle to see the ball. And you're talking about outside the glass, but also the lights are really bright, so when you get a lob up in the air, it's actually quite hard to see that lob.
It was like the Commonwealth Games court at the Gold Coast, and there was the corners there with people moving. It was quite difficult to see going onto that court. It took all players going from the back courts onto the main courts a little while to adjust.
Yeah, no, it does. And a glass court hits a lot different to your traditional plaster court as well.
So now just getting into the second game, and it is Shelton-AGAR up 6-3. So a little bit of a lead, the 3-point lead, make that 4 points. With Joel Arscott there, just a couple of unforced errors. I guess they happen. 4 points though, you don't want to be down by 4 points.
Yeah, you've got to be quite careful not to let your opponent run away with a big lead at the start. It'll be interesting to see how Joel Arscott plays these next couple of points.
Well, you would know that he is very fit, right?
Yeah, very fit.
He's fairly lean and very fit, so that should be in his favour.
Yeah, definitely. I think he should definitely use his fitness as an advantage right about now. Lucky bounce there.
Another good bounce there going the way of Shelton-AGAR as he gets a game point.
Yeah, he's had two lucky bounces now.
And now back for the third game of this, the first match of the Unsquashable Premier League here at Squash XL. And Tem Chalisi, well, I wouldn't call it an upset. We haven't got to the final result yet, but certainly having Michael Shelton-AGAR come back and win the second 11-6 after Joel Arscott took out the first 11-8. A bit surprising to you, or is it just really a bit of a feel your way into the match?
Yeah, no, it's definitely quite surprising to me. I thought Michael might have won the first game, but it's interesting to see him come back after losing the first game in quite a lengthy first game to come back and take that second.
Well, I guess there's the nothing to lose factor. He's not expected. He's a club player more than a pro or semi-pro.
Yeah. Looks like he's still hanging in there.
It appears that Joel is just finding the unorthodox shots and they're not quite knowing what's going to happen next. A little bit difficult. It seems to be with some players like yourself and others that he knows the style or expects a regular style, that he can handle that a lot more, whereas someone like Michael, who's a bit, well, I don't know which shot's going to come next, and I don't know if he does sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think Michael's adapted really well to the conditions today. He's playing some good soft drop shots. He's really hitting his targets with his length. So I think that might have taken Joel by surprise a little bit. Good squeeze by Joel there.
Now, interesting on the serve there. Yeah, Joel doing the backhand serve from that forehand side of the court, whereas Michael was still doing the forehand, and it appeared to be just a slap at the ball.
Yeah.
This is the regular serve, I guess, for most people to do the backhand from that side, whereas Michael was just, I'll just slap it as a forehand.
Slap it, yeah. That's his powerful forehand. May as well use it.
I don't think he'd really be insulted by us calling it a slap kind of serve.
No, definitely not. just clipping the outline there, and that lob from Michael.
There also, he's very good, Michael, at changing the pace. That one shot's hit incredibly hard, the next one's just completely floated almost.
Yeah, yeah. And although he's got a really powerful shot, he's actually got really good touch as well, as you can see. And these nice drop shots.
And it seems that both players are playing forward quite a bit rather than using the back corners. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. I think they're both struggling to find their targets at the back of the court at the moment, and I think it's opening up the front of the court a lot more. As you can see, when you hit a good length there, you're really setting yourself up to take that ball in short. Joel's finding his length a bit more in this rally. Doing well to hang on here.
Oh, well played. That was one of the better rallies of the tournament for Joel anyway. Was able to move his opponent all around the court, and really, I'm not really too sure where Michael thought he was going either.
Yeah. Quite a crucial time as well. See Michael just making an error there, giving Joel game ball.
Back now with this, the fourth game of the first match of the Unsquashable Premier League, and it is Joel ARSCOTT against Michael SHELTON-AGAR. SHELTON-AGAR there in the blue shirt, and Joel ARSCOTT in the red. And Tim, the temperature seems to affect the players a little bit, but they have got into the match now, wouldn't you say? They've got into it, got used to it, and I guess they're warming up as well.
Yeah, I think the real squash is really starting to come out now. The ball normally tends to die off after the third game as well. So I think you might see the pace going up a little bit as the ball starts to die off.
So the first game was won by Joel ARSCOTT 11-8. He dropped the second 6-11 and then won the third 11-7. So into the fourth game now.
Joel's had a good start here.
Nice control down the backhand side.
Michael a bit frustrated with himself on that one.
A number of his mistakes have been hitting it too high and going out in that sense rather than into the tin or missing it. He's actually hit it too high. It's unusual, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit. I think he's worked out that lobs are quite hard to see, so I think he's really using that at the moment, and unfortunately he's just clipping a few out. See a good lob there from Michael.
Well, that was a point to win, wasn't it? It was sitting there, so hit me wherever you want, you're probably going to win.
Yeah. Shot.
And certainly looking a lot more certain now for Joel ARSCOTT.
Starting to dominate that tee area a bit more, which you tend to see him do quite often.
Nice shot. Well controlled and a bit more efficient. You can see in the walk there, he looks a bit more businesslike.
Yeah,
now.
he does. Bit of a stride there, Joel.
Yep.
Looks a lot more comfortable out there now, doesn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, he's feeling confident. Perhaps he needed to lose that second game to actually up his tempo and realise what he needed to do.
Yeah. I think he might have got a bit of a shock as well, dropping that second game.
Oh, there you go, match ball. And this the first match of the Unsquashable Premier League. Or just scoops it up. And the powerful forehand finishing it, right?
Michael
Very
getting
much.
his first point with his favourite shot.
And there we go, the win there for Joel ARSCOTT, and that was a 10-1 in the final game, so make that 11-1 there in the final, and 3 games to 1 there to Joel ARSCOTT, winning this first match against Michael SHELTON-AGAR. And I think, well, how would you sum that up, Tim? Just a good, solid effort?
Yeah, I think a solid all-round performance from Joel, really. Didn't really drop. I think Michael had his opportunities, but just couldn't really hold the pace. But a good match to start off the evening.